You practicing with me?
I'm practicing. Hey guys, it is the TED Show. This is Ted Bogert. How are you guys doing? Welcome back to the TED Show. Obviously, the most important thing, other than my beautiful guest, is that you can hear us and see us, because you're going to want to hear her story, especially if you haven't heard it before. So give me a thumbs up, give me a heart. I know you guys aren't in the mood. You've had 4 weeks off. So let us know. Tyler's on. So send me a heart. Send me a hi. Well, my wife's on. Hi, babe. So Ted. So I got a Ted. So that's good. So that means they can hear me. Bonnie Shear's on.
Hey,
so
Bonnie.
I have the wonderful and amazing Oglah Gatamah. Did I do it right?
You got it.
Oglah Gatamah is on today, and she is so many things. But what she did, she moved me at an event that Linda Guzman and Lulu Rivera threw, which was the Surviving and Thriving. Am I going to do it backwards?
No,
and
right
she
way.
spoke, and the whole room went quiet. So Oglah has an amazing story. I'm super excited to have her on here. We've been laughing for about 35 minutes, so I got to wrap it back in, rope it back in. So welcome to the show.
Thank you.
Super happy to have you. All right, so always we want to start with background. Those of us who weren't blessed enough to be at that or don't know your story may not know where you're from and know a little bit about you, so share with us, please.
Oh, hey, Bonnie, I love you too. Bonnie. So for those of you that don't know me, my name is Oglah Gatamah, or Gatamah, and I was born and raised in East Africa, in Kenya, one of 10 siblings.
Wow.
And most of my family is still over there. Came to the United States around '98 through the Disney International College Program. So I had
That's a big thing, right?
It really was. They came to recruit at my college, and I got really blessed to be able to come on a journey with 25 other students from school.
That's awesome.
Yeah.
All right, so you come here.
So I came over here, So finished the program after 18 months, and then went back to hospitality for 15 years. Worked for a couple of hotels, including the Gaylord.
So you did not go back to Kenya?
No.
You stayed here in the U.S. after you were finished with the Disney program?
Yes, there was just a lot of opportunities here, and it's something that I was looking forward to. So came over, spent 15 years in hotels, really had a lot of fun, grew a lot, learned to speak like this.
You speak beautifully. How was it to not have family over here? Was that
rough.
difficult?
Very difficult.
Sure.
Yeah, very difficult. But then I, got a family over here. I was actually adopted by Dennis and Debbie Snow, if they're watching. As my parents here took me under their wing and took care of not just me, but also the other 25 from my country.
Why did you want to get out of Kenya? Is it because the opportunity is so big? Did it matter where it was? Was Orlando just a big opportunity for you, or was it just getting to the United States because there were more things that you could do?
I actually had an opportunity to go back to Europe. I had done an internship in Oslo, in Norway, and I also had an opportunity to go to Sweden. So before I came to the United States, I was actually headed back to Norway. But then with the Disney program, when it came aboard, and the president of my college called me out, seeked me out, and said, come on up. I came, and I can't regret that. It's been an amazing opportunity.
All right, so you get into your Disney, you're in hospitality. You do that for 15 years. But you're actually a big guru in real estate as well. So how do you make the shift? How do you make the transition? Because those are, even though you're customer service driven, obviously, in the hospitality world, you still, everybody's sending you tons of love.
I love you guys too.
You still have to, that's a big transition to go to real estate.
Yeah.
And the title of the show, which I always encourage the guests to come up with, you came up with, Transforming Lives Through Real Estate.
Yeah, so back to the present. So after 15 years in hospitality, I actually moved over to retail, and I worked for the Target Corporation and had an opportunity to manage a few of the stores around here. Even went to Canada to open a store, and then came back over here.
You have traveled.
Yeah, a lot. Such a blessing. But 3 years ago, I decided to kind of walk away from that really 60, 70-hour week job. Even though it was amazing and it grew me in ways that I can't even explain, I knew that I wanted to kind of step back and revisit who I am and why I came to this country. And you asked that earlier of me. I've always thrived to be somebody of impact, to be somebody that gave back to my country, to my people in Kenya. I have a huge family. My mom had 33 other siblings, and my dad is one of 13.
Wow.
So I have a big responsibility, and they look up to me. So I wanted to go step back from me and making that great income and really look at what did I want to do. And I found real estate. So I got my license and joined Keller Williams March 2016.
What was it about? First of all, a lot of people step back. So what was the catalyst for you to step back? What was it that was going on that you said, all right, I've had this, I've traveled, I've worked for corporations, I've done a lot of big stuff. Now I need to do the things that are important to me, that are heart-driven, soul-driven.
The most important one, I think, was family. I was stretched really thin. I was doing great. I was promoting really fast, but the demands of the career was really taking me away from some of the balance, some of the, the family, the responsibilities. And I've always been very scared of losing who I am. And I woke up one day and realized that I had lost who I am. And I know it's weird to say that when you're being very successful at what you do, but I had lost the essence and the background and who I really was connected to, which was being out in the world and impacting lives. And coming to real estate, I'm so blessed and so happy that I've been able to realize that.
Well, because money and success are lovely, and there's this charisma to that. It's attractive. It sucks you in. And there's nothing wrong with making money. I want to make a lot of money. But I also don't want to lose the essence, and it's very easy to do that, especially if you get caught up in that. And that's the drive, that's the day in, day out that's driving everything that you're doing. And that sounds like that's what was going on, especially if you've got a big corporate job.
Oh, completely. And there's, one thing I learned from Keller Williams, and when one of our leaders said, money is only good for the good that it can do. And I was spending more time in the making of the money and not enough time on the good of what the money can do. And but what is so interesting is coming into real estate, I took a more than 50% pay cut, and I've been able to do more.
Isn't that awesome? So talk about that. So real estate, why? Did you have experience or background? Because that's always the question. Like, I have a lot of real estate professionals that come on the show. And my question to them always is, you obviously made a leap to real estate. Is it because it seemed like it was all glamorous and easy? Or did it seem like it was an answer to the things that you wanted to accomplish and still allowed the flexibility? Did you know at that point?
So, funny thing about me is I never know the end result, but I really enjoyed the journey of becoming. So when I came to real estate, I knew you could make a lot of money. I saw the numbers, I did a lot of research, asked a lot of questions, especially coming onto Keller Williams. And so I knew there was a possibility there to make a lot of money, and the goal was then to reinvest it back in my community here and also back in Africa. So, but when I got into Keller Williams, all of a sudden I got hit hard, but I did not know this kind of company existed where you are tasked to be more, and the company value was God, family, business. So I had to really go back and kind of re-engineer my thought process, and I opened up myself and asked a lot of questions about where can I take this career and within real estate. Now, I love people, I love leadership. My greatest passion is developing others and helping them reach their full potential. So when I learned that there was a leadership side of real estate that would allow me to do that, kind of consult, coach, guide, motivate, inspire agents to grow big lives, and with that would come opportunities for me to do exactly what I wanted to do. I mean, it was just a match.
That's like the dream job,
It was, right?
For you especially. And you can see there's so much love going on up and down. They keep going through, but people obviously are inspired and motivated by you. What is it? Did you grow up in a way that's how it was in family, or is that just something intrinsic that you feel like you were born with, or did you have to develop it? Did you have to develop that gift or that talent?
So it depends. If you ask my mother, she'll say it was spiritual, that I was meant to come to this world to be somebody.
I love
now, in my own perspective, I think my desire to help others is rooted in the fact that there was just some key people in my life that kind of just showed up along the way and really impacted me, guided me, mentored me, gave me opportunities, found me opportunities. I've never really applied for anything. I've always been awarded that opportunity. So the way I look at it is, it's my responsibility and it's an honor for me to be able to give that back to somebody else.
you feel it. Did you hear a voice crack? Like you're making me emotional. And the reason is because when you are able to do that for people, and it's part of what your heart plan, your God plan, your soul plan, whatever your beliefs are, there's a plan for your life, whether you want to admit it or not. When you're doing what you're supposed to be doing, you just want to do it 24/7 because the reward is so amazing and you see the impact. Having mentors along the way have been so important to me in my career and everything that I've ever done. And if I hadn't had those, I don't know what path I'd be along. It would be different and certainly more difficult than it already was. So what you're creating is these wonderful opportunities for these people. And it's good for you too. It's really good for you.
It really is. And you know what? It's not easy. Some people come to your life to bless you, and some people come to your life to give you lessons. I take both ways and I appreciate both of them.
That is the kindest way I've ever heard that said.
So I think going back to vision, I grew up and one of we had a little small TV and my mom used to lock it and we only had 2 hours or so to watch it. And I just remember Oprah and watching her shows and listening to her. And one of the things she said that has resonated with me for my entire life was the fact that some of us were just meant to bring vision opportunities to others. And coming from a world that the word vision is never spoken out of, outside the US, that word, at least when I was growing up, was not really spoken to. You need to have a vision, you need to have a mission for your life. I never heard that. It's something that's very strange to a lot of people. So what I do every single day as I walk through life, whether I'm in the market center, in a brokerage, helping agents, or just being in the community, giving back, or speaking in the different conferences that I do, is am I on that stage providing a vision of opportunities? Can people connect and relate to what I'm saying? And then is what I'm saying going to help somebody create an action, right? Because you can either, I've never looked at myself as somebody that wants to be some sort of icon or celebrity now. I just want to go through the room silently, just facilitating some action from people and inspiring them to be just great global citizens.
So I love that. I mean, and I think that's what people who have that, this is something that is your passion. It's part of you and what you do and everything that you do, you think about that. I know it, right? It's part of your being, it's part of your DNA. Vision is a difficult word. I think it gets thrown around as a buzzword. How do you help people define or help them clarify what their vision is?
So let's go back just a little bit about what you said about DNA. I had this challenging conversation the other day with somebody that I care about. And the question was, I said, growing up in rural Africa in poverty and strife and that walking to school and not really a lot of vision of success. So how do you explain that? This is a learned behavior that has been taught by life experiences.
I love it.
So even though it's not ingrained in my DNA, I have made a choice as a human being that that's who I want to be. That's what I want to represent in this world. So the way I do it is, I share my story. I tell people my story. I share my challenges. I allow myself to be a very vulnerable leader. And in that, in being in that moment and sharing that kind of story, it inspires people. But my team would also tell you that I'm very highly accountable, and I don't allow you to be a victim in anything in life. I don't care what you're going through. I do care that you're hurting or you're getting challenged, but I also care more about how can you look on the other side of that, because beyond, when you get through that breakdown, there's a major breakthrough in your life. So I address not only the spiritual side of it, but also the life part of it, and also the guidance, and then connecting people to the right resources. And then for currently where I am with my real estate career, when we talk about transforming lives, is every single day, do I have a big enough vision for everybody's vision to fit in? Am I building a great organization that people can see themselves growing within? And also, on a daily basis, when I look back, I look at what our agents are going through, what we're doing in the community, whether we are volunteering, whether we are, just engaging with different platforms like where we are, or the Surviving and Thriving Conference. I look back and I say, what are my agents becoming? What are the people around me becoming? And when I see, particularly this week, when a couple of our agents have really gotten some big awards, locally and nationwide, it tells me that something is working. And we need to continue doing that. So yeah, I facilitate, provide the platform, the inspiration, but also the accountability. And I want to give a shout out to Janice and Franklin Mateo for being on the top 100.
Congratulations, I saw that.
On the NAREP, the South region, but also to Joel Pacheco, who has an award that's coming up that's nationwide, but it's all about the impacts it's having on people's lives.
So, and Lou Hay, she's two of my favorite souls. My Rafiki.
Hi, Rafiki. That's my Rafiki
Teddy,
tribe.
I got you. I adore her. I think people will look. So what a lot of times afterward, and that's why I always like to bring it up when we're discussing it, people will say, well, she's obviously got her ish together, right? So you got it together. Nothing bothers her.
I wish.
Nothing. So what I want you to share is a little bit, since we've talked about vulnerability. I think people also need to know that it's not a perfect sunshine day and you have to continue to go through, and it's not a perfect day every day. It may be a blessed day every day. People get those confused, but it's not a perfect day. So how do you get through that? How do you, Oglah, get through some of the challenges?
I am so heavily calendarized. You have no idea. From the moment I wake up to the moment I go to sleep, I have a slot on my schedule for affirmations, for prayer, for time with my son, for time with my children, my family, and also my work. I read a lot. I listen to podcasts every week, every day that I go to work. I'm blessed in a company that we're challenged to read different books, so multiple times. I could be reading 3-4 books at a time and listening to 5 podcasts and watching your show. But I'm very intentional about my learning, even if it's just 5 or 10 minutes. I make sure that I'm immersed in the right things. It's when you are, especially in leadership, and you have such a big platform and a vision, you have to make sure you're in the right state of mind and you take care of yourself, but also, that you are in the right places at the right time. So, last week I was out in Dallas speaking at a conference, and then came down, went right back to work like nothing happened, started an 8-hour class called Bold, and then had you on this schedule, had interviews along the way. So I have to stay very organized because I have a big responsibility. And in anything you do in life, you do have to be very organized. You do have to be very purposeful every day. I can't wake up and just wing it. It doesn't work.
I can't, people, I wing the show, as you know. We've talked about that, right? So we wing the show. But that's the only winging that goes on.
Yeah.
I'm very calendarized as well, and I have to know what my schedule is. I had somebody cancel on me 15 minutes before yesterday.
Oh, wow.
And I'm booked. I'm busy, people, but it's not that I'm just busy. I'm productive and purposefully making sure that I'm utilizing my time the way that I need to utilize it in order to be the most impactful that I can be in what I'm supposed to accomplish.
Yes.
So I think it's so important. I think the organization is so important, because how else are you going to do all the good for the world that you want to do if you're not calendarized? If you just wake up in the morning and you're saying, well, I don't know what's going to happen today, but I'm gonna impact the world.
Yeah.
That is, to me, that's the most stressful place. I get stressed out thinking about it.
Yeah.
So what do you do family-wise? So we talked about family. So you've got to bring that in.
Yes.
You're calendarized, but do you include family in that? And then how does that work on the downtime that you have? And downtime's my word. You could have a different word.
Okay. So with family, I'm blessed that I have a family that comes along with me, because my life is very on the move, and they've understood that. When I was in hotels, my kids were in the hotel. When I worked at Target, they were at Target. It was Black Friday, they came to hang out. And same thing with real estate. There are times that my children are around me in the office, and that's okay, because in that time they are learning things. I not only have a family here, but I also have a big family in Africa. So you'll be shocked that sometime during the day, people don't know this, I might have a 10-minute conference call because I have a board meeting going on in Kenya. And and there's almost an 8-hour time difference out there. I could be actually speaking at a wedding or at a funeral via Skype or something.
Oh, I did not know that about you.
So there's a lot that goes on. And then my family back in Africa wake up in the morning and it's nighttime. It's midnight over here. Sometimes I stay until midnight just to talk to somebody that probably just needed an encouraging word because they had a job interview, or they're on their way to college, or they were traveling to the American embassy that's hours and hours away. I want to make sure they got there safely. And then I have to wake up and live my life here in America. So I live in
Wow.
2 different countries on a daily basis, and it's a lot of responsibility, and yet it's muscle. You build muscle, right? You're not perfect. It's messy. Success is very messy. You're gonna make
It's
mistakes.
so messy. Say that again, guys.
Success
it's so
is
messy.
so messy.
It's so messy.
And sometimes you look back and you're like, how the heck did that even happen? What was that all about?
It's so true.
Or you're not sure, what was I saying? And yet we live in such a life that's on stage, you know, and having a life like mine that's so on stage nonstop. It's not easy, but I've built muscle around it. But I also have a great support system. I have people that genuinely love and care for me and check on me. And then I have my tribe, you know, Linda, Lulu, you guys are amongst my tribe. And then I have such an amazing staff and such an amazing core group of agents that keep me grounded. Plus also my leaders, you know, at work, my leaders at home, at church. There's so many things. So talking of downtime, church is one of my most important downtimes. I'm that one person in church, you know, that person when the pastor says, come up front and talk to the deacons or they pray for you. I'm the first one there. Most of the time I'm bawling and crying for no reason, but that's my outlet.
Put your hands on me and bless me. I need
for
it.
no reason.
Yeah.
It's my outlet. I love being in that spirit. I also, a lot of my downtime is around music, a lot of African music. A lot of African music.
I didn't know. That's so cool.
Absolutely. And then my mom is actually my downtime. I talk to her on my way to work and on my way from work every single day, and I've done it for over 10 years.
Wow. That's a blessing to have her like that. And the fact that she has 33 siblings or 32 siblings. I haven't forgotten that one. I can't even do the math on that. Probably like 900 cousins. That's a whole village.
Actually, when we do a family reunion and there's 500 people, it's the whole family.
Yeah, they're all first cousins.
You have to be very careful that you don't start dating each other. I'm not kidding.
No, I have no
In my
doubt.
family, if you want to get engaged, there has to be some research done.
You got to do a DNA test maybe, just to make sure. All right, so obviously, Oglah's amazing, right? So have I missed anything that we want to cover before I ask you the last question, before we head out, before we do all that little thing that I want? Am I missing anything?
No. Well, I think I kind of hinted to you that we might have some news coming up. It's not really official, but obviously I've been with Keller 3 years. Started as a realtor, then became a team leader overseeing the 2 offices. And currently in the process, it's not done yet, and we'll come here and make sure we share that story with us. But we might just be, you know, buying a territory.
Woo! This is big news. And you know, it's a natural, wonderful, amazing progression for you. And so I'm excited to hear all the news. It's not official yet, so.
It's kind of official,
kind of
50-50.
We're just glad you got to tell it on the TED Show.
I know, right?
I didn't even know coming into it. All right, so Oglah's fantastic. She's obviously amazing and accessible, vulnerable. So if you want to reach out to her, we'll share all of her contact information at the end of the show. Any parting words of wisdom for them? Anything you want to share before we head out?
Yeah, absolutely. I just want to, you know, kind of leave this with everybody that's watching the show. Is this life is very complicated, especially currently. There's a lot of negativity just going around the world. I feel like there's so much conflict and tug of wars going on, especially on social media and all the things that are going on. But at the end of the day, we do still have to be the citizens of this world. We have to be kind, amazing people. And I want to be that resource for anybody out there that wants a quick phone call, quick stop by our area if you want to talk about it. But continue being great human beings. At the end of the day, a lot of these things will pass, but we still have to look back to our children and see what kind of footprints and legacy that we left for them. So are you living your best life?
I love it. You're a joy. Don't you want to be around her 24/7? Oh my God, she's amazing. You are an absolute joy. Thank you for being on the show. Thank you guys for sending her love. We will both respond to all of your comments later. Thank you for sending her all the hearts. We appreciate you guys. We'll be back a little later on. We love you. Thank you so much for coming on. Mwah. We'll see you soon. Bye, guys.